Hey everyone, it's Makaliah with Mak and Makeup, and I thought today I would just do a wedding series related video because I have literally not done one in so long. And that's because I just had a period of time where there just really wasn't anything to do necessarily. Like there was like little things, but it wasn't like anything that was video worthy in my opinion. So I just wanted to kind of like catch everyone up where things are at. So currently I am a little less than 3 months away. I think we're at 87 days left to go as of when this is being filmed. And so that kind of means, all right, last 3 months, gotta get everything together and make sure we finalize a lot of details. So in my August reset, I did add quite a bit of stuff to kind of like hone in on and like focus. Some of the main things that I need to kind of like finalize completely is our table settings, as far as like the tablecloth, the plate, the charger plate that goes under your food plate, and like finalizing the runner that's gonna go across the table, also some of the little details like the candles and the I also plan on having like a small like circle acrylic mirror looking thing kind of below where the flower arrangements are going to go on top of, and also the candles and the table numbers. So it's kind of like just essentially I just need to like finalize the finer details and just find out what I'm going to like and what's going to look good the day of. So that's what I'm working on. My RSVPs are actually due in 2 weeks on Friday, or 2 weeks from Friday. So August 16th, I had them due so early because I am buying a lot of the stuff myself and I'm doing a lot of the decor myself as well. So I really want to know like, okay, how many people are going to be here, and like kind of like hone in on, okay, how many people are going to be here and how many tables do I need, how many table settings do I need, how many chairs at each table. Like I really just want to finalize a lot of those things because I am doing it myself, and I have like an idea of course, but I really want to give myself ample time. And then that way if there's anyone after the fact that is like, oh, you know, I wasn't sure if I could make it, I know for sure I can come, well then it's not like too late to count for someone, and I can still say, okay, yeah, no, like you can come or whatever, because that's always like a fear of mine is that somehow magically a bunch of people are just going to show up and I don't know who any of the people are and they didn't RSVP, you know, like that's always my biggest fear with events. I feel like especially when you have so much family involved, it's like everyone wants to invite all their friends and you're like, but it's not a friend reunion, it's not a family reunion, like I have to pay for everyone that's here, like, so we need to rein that in. So yeah, I'm still waiting to hear back from like 90 people, I think, and that's like 90 individuals, not like 90 families or anything, but I think according to my RSVP thing, I'm waiting on 90 people to reply. And so far, I think we have 54 people that are coming, or 56 or something like that. So we're still like under the count that we want to be under, but I just want to like, you know, make sure that we stick around 100 as best as we can because of the way that we're going to set up at the venue. I think it would be easier if we can stick to 100 people coming, if that makes sense. So really tracking down the RSVPs, it's a nightmare. It's like probably the worst thing ever. And my dad is gonna send out like a group text, not a group text, but like a text to a bunch of people on Friday to be like, okay, you have 2 weeks to reply, whether you're coming or not. And the other thing too is we have been kind of working on our registry as well, and we did get one item from our registry from people who are not coming, and so they're like, well, we can't come, but here's a gift. So that was really nice, and I'm looking forward to sending like thank you cards to people after the wedding, because I feel like it makes more sense to do it kind of like a mass production, if you will, versus like trying to keep track of all of it now. I mean, I probably could send them their thank you card by now, but I haven't even gotten that far as like what are my thank you cards gonna look like and what are we gonna put on, you know, like I haven't even crossed that bridge. I haven't even like thought about that bridge yet. So I kind of just want to do them all at the same time and just make it work that way. So yeah, as far as like the real planning goes, I just have a few finer details to worry about. For sure, we need to finalize a lot of the songs for like the major stuff. We know what songs we want to play. Like we have kind of like a general playlist of things that we want. And then we have a general like do not play these songs list. But I kind of need to like finalize the photo shoot list. So what I want photos of, who I want photos with. And one idea that we had, and I don't think it's a terrible idea, is especially if you have a buffet style where people get up and go get their plate of food and then come sit down, a good idea might be for the couple to go around and they go to each table, take a picture with everyone there, and then dismiss them for getting food. I think that's like the best idea ever, because then you can kind of like say hi to everyone, mingle a little bit if you didn't really get to see anyone during cocktail hour, and you get to get a photo with everyone. I think that's the most important part, is you get a photo with everyone, because one thing I wanted to do with my thank you cards was especially if they attended, I want to be able to send them a photo that they can keep. The other thing is the table settings. Obviously we plan on having families together at tables. I think that's definitely what I'm gonna do for the bridal and groom party, is just let them sit with whoever their +1 is, or whatever whoever they came with, or whoever their family is. I'm just gonna have them do it that way. Some other thoughts that I had is obviously timeline. Timeline is kind of a difficult thing, because it's like, okay, in your head you feel like you have enough time in between things and you can like boom, boom, boom things, but we know like reality can be a little bit different. So one of the main things that I've discovered with the timeline is these are just like general timestamps. Like I'm not going to plan anything down to the nitty-gritty as far as like to the minute, to the second. Things are just going to be okay, at this time I'd like us to start this and then this and this and you know, especially when it comes to like the first dance and then the father-daughter dance and the mother-son dance. The way that we're structuring that is basically when our reception starts, which is going to be about 6:30. That's when cocktail hour won. 6:30 is when reception starts, so everyone's going to find their seat and sit down for reception, and then we're going to have our wedding party enter, and then shortly after we're going to have us enter, and then we're just going to go right into our first dance. And then after the first dance, I'll do the father-daughter dance, and then he'll do the mother-son dance, and then we're gonna have a dinner prayer, and then we're gonna be released for dinner. Another thing that I was thinking of, because you're like doing the timeline and stuff and you're like, when are we gonna be able to like relax and eat and enjoy? I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet, but I do think that during cocktail hour I am gonna ask that our caterer like give us a nice bento box of snacks and the food. And essentially what I want to do with it is have like stuff that we can munch on during cocktail hours. So while we're still like mingling with people or taking photos or just taking a little break, like then we can still be full. Because I was thinking, okay, if we release everyone for the buffet line during dinner, where does that put us at eating dinner? Well, probably not until later. And so we kind of want to like keep that part of the timeline as tight as we can, as far as like when reception starts, when dinner starts, and when people eat, because we also want to eat and we want to get something in our system, you know, especially before we have to go say hi to everyone. Like, none of us want to be grumpy for that or hungry, or, you know, not that we would be, but, you know, it's a long day. It's already a long day, but I heard it's like the fastest day of your life. So that's why I'm like, I really want to be able to take in the moment as much as I can and really truly enjoy it. One thing I also saw was people saying that, you know, for the bride and groom, especially like when they set up your reception from your ceremony, to like just take a look around and like enjoy it before everyone starts flooding in. And I think that's like a fantastic idea. And the weather may ruin our plans, give or take, if like, for example, it's going to be end of October in the Pacific Northwest, so it's like, as far as the weather goes, it could either be really great or really bad. And I'm hoping that it's just, if it's going to be cloudy, that it's not going to rain, and if it's going to be sunny, it's not going to be like, you know, like the sun cloud. Like, I'm hoping it's like a good sunny day, or if it's not going to be a good sunny day, at least a cloudy day with no rain. Because I would like to like kick everyone out for cocktail hour and let them like hang out outside while the coordinator kind of gets all the tables together. Some thoughts I had with the tables and organizing all that is, I wanted to get totes, like small totes or boxes. I think me and my fiance decided on boxes because they're going to be much cheaper than totes. My only concern is like a box isn't as durable, and so if there was bad weather, or if, you know, something just spills on the box, like I don't want the things inside to get ruined, right? So one thought we had was just having individual smaller totes or boxes for each table, and then I can always set up my mother-in-law's table that she has, because she has a nice round table at her house, and I could always set up everything on there, take a picture of it, and be like, this is how I want my table settings to look. And then that way the coordinator knows exactly what she needs to do, because I really just have her for the day, and although I'm like paying her for that day, I really like just want to make it as easy for her as possible, and just make sure that she has all the information she could ever need. So that's a thought, if anyone has ever considered the decor part of it, is maybe having totes or boxes for like each decor or decorated area, so each table. And then we were planning on, obviously, for the entrance table, and then we're gonna have a table for gifts and cards, and then the table for, we're gonna set up a little thing for all of like our grandparents and our parents with their wedding photos, so it's kind of like the love that built us, you know, and just kind of showcase that, because I feel like that kind of makes it special. So that was another thought that we had. And then also, like, we're gonna be having a table for the desserts. Like, there's a lot of tables going on. Like, I don't even know how I'm keeping track of it, but we definitely want like a space dedicated for each of those, so that we can make sure that everything like stays together, and then at the next day when everyone has to clean up, they just have to put it back in the tote. I think it makes it so easy. So that's kind of our hope, and that's what we're wanting to happen, especially since Sunday we're probably not even going to go back to the venue at all. We're probably just gonna go straight home, because we're gonna be going to Iceland in a few days. We just need to make sure we have everything together. So just as like an FYI, if you're thinking of, okay, how am I gonna set this up, like, I think the easiest way, totes and boxes are gonna be your best friend for sure. And then some other things to consider besides like your timeline, your organization, if you will, of things. Definitely thinking about table settings, what tables you're gonna have set up. And also, on top of that, you kind of have to consider, like, the location of the venue. So, kind of like the extra decor. So like the floral arrangements, like are those gonna change from ceremony to reception? How are they gonna change? Or are they just gonna be moved somewhere else? For us, during the ceremony, we plan on having 2 floral arrangements on some barrels, and then when it's time to go to reception, those are gonna move elsewhere. Like we're probably gonna put one over by the bar, and then we're probably gonna put one over by the kind of like those entrance tables and whatnot. So, and then some other things to consider is who's going to be in charge of what tasks. So that's what I'm working on right now, is figuring that out, because I feel like you need to have someone who's going to take the card box and make sure it goes to a safe place, whether that's in someone's car, whether that's in the bridal suite, whether that's with the bride and groom, like whatever the case may be, someone needs to be in charge of the card box and the gifts. Where are those going? And also you have to consider, okay, who's going to be in charge of making sure when you're doing your photos and everyone's taking photos during cocktail hour, like who's going to grab all the people that need to be there. So the way I'm scheduling my photo shoot list is what I'm going to call it, is I'm going to be taking pictures with my, for example, like with my bridesmaids, and then the whole bridal party together, groom included. And then I'm going to get pictures with my grandparents together and then separate. And then I'm going to get pictures with my parents, my siblings. I'm going to get pictures with my, like my extended family. So like aunts, uncles, grandparents, parents, you know, kind of like everyone. But then me and him are also going to get pictures with those people as well. So like you kind of want to structure it so that it's like whoever's in the photos, or like whoever's needed for the photos, you get their photos right then and there. So then they don't have to like come back and forth. And then at the end, we plan on doing a whole family photo, like entire group. So everybody, as like one whole photo, so both sides. And I think that's going to be really cool. It's honestly going to be like more than half the guest list, because a lot of our guests are family. So there's probably not going to be a lot of people at cocktail hour at that time. But once photos are done, me and him plan on getting a few solo shots together, of course. And then after that's done, we wanted to, if we have time, to mingle a little bit, but we also wanted to try and get some sunset photos together. And one thing is I might need to find like a little quaint place to kind of run off to so that we can get nice sunset photos. And I don't know the area very well because I'm not from there, but my grandma is, so I might be able to like find something for like, you know, just that like golden hour shoot. And then when we're done with that, we come back and then we do reception and then dinner and then dessert and speeches and all that. I mean, the timeline can go on and on. I recommend looking up online an example timeline for a wedding and kind of looking at what you want to do for your wedding and kind of compiling them together. As far as like choosing the time frame for when things start, when things end, that can be a little bit difficult. I am having a little bit of a later ceremony traditionally. I feel like most people have their ceremony around 3:30, sometimes even like noon. Our ceremony is starting at 4:30 and ends at 5. And then from 5 to 6:30 is cocktail hour. I'm calling it cocktail hour and a half because it is an hour and a half. And then basically 6:30 on is kind of like reception, dinner, and then we'll have speeches. I'm also going to be doing the bouquet toss. And then that's the other thing, is gifts for people. Like I'm struggling so hard. I'm usually the best gift giver, but I'm like, I don't even know. Like I kind of have an idea for my own mom what I want to get her. I kind of have an idea for his mom. But it's like I also want to give a gift obviously to my dad and his dad. I want to try and find something for the grandparents as well, because I kind of feel like, you know, they also don't usually get something either. And so, you know, we'll see. But I definitely want to do something for grandparents as well. Once you kind of get towards the end and closer to when your wedding is, it's really just about the finer details. It's about like making sure you have everything correct. And I say there's no shame in like trying out different color schemes, trying out like different items to see what's gonna work best for the look you're going for. Like for us, we're gonna have emerald green tables, and then our table for me and him is gonna be like a champagne-y color or whatever. And so we wanted the runners to be gold, and that's where we're like can't decide what kind of gold, because there's like a meshy gold and then a solid gold. So I feel like now I have to order once we get a final guest count, I have to like order these like cloths and see what looks good with what. So yeah, that's like a whole nother shindig, if you will. And then on top of that, it's like, is this all gonna look good together? Like, unclear. So that's kind of the predicament that we are running into. But a lot to consider, a lot to think about, and it's definitely like getting more exciting, because forever I felt like, oh, it's just so far away. It's so far away. It's months away. It's months away. Now it's like 3 months. That's not a long time. I mean, look at how fast this year is already gone. So for any brides out there, 2024 brides especially, or beginning of 2025 brides, like we're almost there. It's gonna be our time. And you know, I think the most important thing is that there's always gonna be something that happens. There's always gonna be something to go wrong. It's just the nature of life. Like, if you can let loose and accept the fact that there's going to be something to go wrong, then I think it will help you relax more. Because when you want everything to be so perfect, I feel like that's when it goes so wrong. Versus if you can just kind of let loose a little bit and relax, like enjoy the process. Don't stress yourself out over the process. Like literally just think about how happy you're going to be with your future husband or future wife, and just how much it's going to better your life and change it for the better. So definitely, like, all of us need to relax, just let it ride out, and just focus on what needs to get done and stick to our plans. And so yeah, we're all almost there. We'll make it through, and just remember that there's always something to go wrong. So don't expect perfection on that day. Just expect it to be fun, exciting, and new. And just think of the new chapter that you're starting with your future spouse. And I think if you can keep that in mind, it will help you just live in the moment and be there for your big special day. So that's all I pretty much have for this video. And I plan on doing more meal preps, baking with me, and planning videos, of course. And I'll probably do another like wedding series video in September, and then of course in October when it gets closer. And then we got to do that post-wedding chat, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I have for today, and I'll see you guys in my next video.